Hello, everyone. Welcome to Love and Confetti. I'm Arion, and this is my girlfriend Dani. And today we're going to be talking about our 2021 and reflect on what happened this year.
So basically, we're going to be talking about our reflections on the past year for this episode. And we're going to do maybe 2 or 3 more episodes in the coming weeks, talking about the goals that we want to set for ourselves and how we're going to execute on the goals. Because I made a 2022 planner kind of thing. It's a bit extra. I made my boyfriend do it with me as step one of what we're supposed to be tackling. So step one is reflect. Step two is identify. Step three is plan. Step four is execute. So each week we'll be focusing on a specific step or stage. So this week is reflections. We're going to be asking each other some questions to reflect about our past year, 2021. And if you guys want to join in, you can follow along. We'll be talking about our answers to these questions, but you can also reflect on these questions on your own, in your own time.
Well, basically, we're going to be reflecting on our year. And, let's start with you, babe. So, how was your 2021?
Whenever I think about like the year, it's a bit blurry. Like, I don't know, like the year just kind of blurred together because majority of the time, 95% of the time was spent at home. It's not like you're taking trips where you can say like, I stayed at home, I went on a trip, I did this. It's because everything's at home. It kind of all seems very monotonous. Although there are struggles here and there, it's kind of like routine. I didn't super remember my whole 2021. In fact, I had to look at like my story archive. I had to look at photos of my year to remember what I actually did in January versus Feb versus March. I'll just like give maybe 2 or 3 things that are like distinct for this year. One is we got pets. I have never really been a pet owner before. We had dogs before, but they were kind of just there. This year, we got a dog super last minute. One was given to us, one we planned to get, and one my dad kind of just got before we got the one we were planning to get. It was a very big learning curve, being a first-time pet owner on like what to do, like how to feed, like every single thing we'd have to Google. Another thing that happened this year was I decided to get serious about photography as a career and not just as a hobby. So I've gotten a few clients here and there, mostly portraits, but then I'm trying to do more commercial work. It's just that that's a bit more challenging now because of the whole COVID situation. Plus, the fact that 2 weeks ago we had like the super typhoon in Cebu, which kind of just damaged a lot of the things I wanted to photograph. So that's a challenge that I'm gonna have to like overcome in the next year. Yeah, that's mostly it. Everything's been just kind of a continuation of COVID. It's nothing really new, some highs, some lows.
And would you say for like personal growth, would you say that 2021 was a good year for you or a okay year or bad year?
I don't really think about each year as like, was it a good year, was it a bad year? I feel like every year is another level of growth that you unlock. It's not, I can't say that it was a bad year because even if bad things happened, like 2020 was a quote unquote objectively bad year. But in a way, I also got to introspect a lot or like reflect a lot and work on myself a lot. And it was a time to like really hang out with your family because there was not much else to do. I had a lot of like learnings and private personal growth. Even 2020, I wouldn't count it as a bad year. Like objectively, it was bad, but I don't count any year as bad.
For me, I think the biggest thing for me was my move. So I actually moved from my town, like this small town in the south of Spain called Estepona, to the big city, Barcelona. And it was a very stressful couple of months preparing for the move. I had to sell a lot of our things, and we actually didn't end up selling everything because we didn't have time. And well, there's that. And then the actual move itself, the packing, the preparation, the finding an apartment here. So there was a lot of factors that added to my stress levels. But in the end, it was such a great move because, like, for the first time since moving to Spain, I really feel like I've integrated more. and I'm enjoying myself a lot more here in Barcelona. You know, there's just so much to do. There's always something new happening. Not like the small town in the south of Spain, which there's practically nothing to do. It's a sleepy town. So I'm very happy with the move, and it was a big move. And I actually got a job here. I got a new job here, which is I'm very happy about as well. And I just feel like I've grown a lot in that sense that I'm adaptable. At least I feel like I am, because I've moved here, and then within like 2 months I was already working here. I was already, making a couple of friends. So in a way, it's pretty good. I still feel like I could do more. So since arriving, I feel like I could make more friends. I feel like I could do more around the city. I think I haven't fully uncovered what Barcelona has to offer for me. But overall, I'm very satisfied, and I feel like it was such a great option to come here. Other than that, I think that this year has kind of revolved around that move, because I think in the beginning of the year we made the decision like, okay, we are moving, and then we started the preparations, the packing, the everything around the beginning of the year, and we moved mid this year to Barcelona. So it's like my whole year just revolved around this move. Other than that, I started a YouTube channel. So I have my gaming YouTube channel with my brother, and we finally got started. We're not very consistent with our uploads, which I'm a little bit disappointed with, but at the very least, I've uploaded finally, and one of our videos actually got quite a bit of attention, which I'm very, very happy about. And well, we plan to make that channel grow and push it to the limit, right? It's kind of been a topsy-turvy year for me, and it's been another year without Danny. I feel like this year we have to do something about that.
Okay, so that was it for how has the year been in terms of like the big picture. Now let's talk about what went well this year and when have you felt proud of yourself this year. So for me, one was I decided to get more serious about photography. I upgraded all my gear. I think I started with a camera body and 2 lenses, and now I have 4 lenses and an upgraded camera body. I also got to work with a few clients. I got 2 part-time jobs a couple of months ago, and that was very last minute. I got it all in a span of a few days, like literally over the weekend. I got both jobs. With those 2 jobs, I reached my monthly income goal, which is very good. I want to get another client this year. It never hurts to have more money. Another thing that went well this year was the dogs, because the house kind of just became more lively, or I guess like united. Like there's always the pet to talk about, because there's always, something new about our pets. So there's that. I also got to declutter a lot of things and clothes that I don't need anymore, that kind of just take up space in my life. I also rediscovered writing poetry like 5 months ago, something like that. And I think it was October. I don't know. I kind of just got triggered because of a certain event, and that led me to write maybe 20 poems. Something else that went well is I have gotten to work on a lot of ideas in my head, and I'm slowly like working on bringing them to life. It's still a work in progress, but that's one of the things that I feel like really proud of myself doing, is brainstorming and working on something. I always try to like make time to learn and read and like work on my mindset. So yeah, what about you?
Okay, so in my case, I guess I'm just proud that I managed to adapt here. So I've adapted the lifestyle, I've adapted the city, I know my way around, which is pretty good for just 4 months. And I'm also proud that I got a job early, which is also something I can say I'm proud about. I'm proud I finally got my YouTube channel started. Again, this is just repeating what I already said, but it really took me a lot of effort. I'd always put it off doing something else. Oh, I'm proud I've tried new things this year. For example, recently I've been doing some voice acting, and it's been an experience for me. I wouldn't say I'm the best at the moment. I think I can improve as a voice actor, but I definitely enjoy the experience, and it's refreshing. It's something entirely new. So I think that's about it.
Okay, so what about things that didn't go so well this year?
Well, just recently, my cousin passed away, and that really affected me and my family. And It was just such a tragedy. She was very young. She was only 31 years old at the time. It was actually just her birthday, so happy birthday, Sky. And it was such a tragedy for the family. We really didn't expect that. It was completely sudden, completely unexpected, and we just miss her, you know? Like we just felt like she was gone too soon. But we hope she's watching over us. That's what we always think, right? What people think. And that for me was the biggest low of 2021. Other than that, pandemic, things like that, it's still ongoing. Just overall, it's been a very roller coaster year for us, but I wouldn't say it's the worst year. But that definitely, the part about my cousin was really the lowest point of this year. What about you?
Something that didn't go well. We didn't get to see each other this year. There's that.
Oh, well, that too.
And at
Yeah.
the start of the year, I tested positive for COVID and I had to like isolate myself in my room for 2 weeks. And then we realized after that that might have been a false positive because that entire 2 weeks I didn't feel anything. Like there was no symptoms, nothing. I don't know. I kind of just felt like that was a waste of time because after that 2 week isolation, I got myself tested for like antibodies and I had zero. So if you had COVID, then you're supposed to have antibodies, to combat the virus or something, but it was zero. So then we were thinking that it might have been a false positive. I mean, I wouldn't really say like that was a complete waste of time, but being stuck in your room for 2 weeks for nothing is kind of a bummer. Also, something that didn't go so well this year is I didn't get to post or create as much photos as I would have wanted to for Girls With Sign, for the two sub pages for Girls With Sign, which are Pups With Sign, and I have a new one called Creative With Sign. Still have to work on that this year. We didn't get to release as much podcast episodes as I would have wanted to on my personal Instagram. Like I rarely post already, and I had to like get a monthly theme to force myself to like make content around that theme or color scheme. 2 weeks ago in December, as you probably already know, Cebu City was hit with a super typhoon. So Cebu's still like struggling to like rebuild itself because a huge percentage, I don't want to say a number, but a huge percentage of Cebu still doesn't have electricity. So no power, no water, no Wi-Fi. But me and my family, we already have electricity, I think because we're in like the city. So I'm thankful for that. But there's still a lot to like rebuild and restore. Also, our beach house got destroyed. So that was a really big bummer. Like it's like completely wiped out. Like the structure is just gone. Like the ramp is gone. The stairs are gone. Like all the furniture just washed away. And it was very surreal, I guess, to go to somewhere that you own or like where there's a lot of memories attached and just kind of seeing it in rubble. So that was kind of like, whoa, this happens.
Okay, so what about the cool things you've discovered this year? What do you think are, some interesting or new things that you've learned about the world or whatever?
I rediscovered some Instagram accounts that inspire the kind of work I want to be doing. So that's one. I also discovered a lot of like YouTube channels and creators that really resonate with my kind of thinking and the kind of content that I want to be watching. That's two. I discovered meditation and I'm learning more about the energy, spirituality of things. Another thing I'm learning about is like more the technical side of like photography, so like upgrading gear, things like that. So I don't know, like I found it cool. I don't know if other people do, but it's more of like the techie side, the fun techie side of photography. Something that I super like, it was a game changer for me, was discovering this app called Notion. So it's really just a place to put my entire life. If you don't know what it is, you should go look it up. Like it really just organized my entire like, it's like a brain dump. Just Google Notion and try it out and you'll see what I mean by it literally just organizes your entire thought process. Something else, I started stretching. I don't know if like that's a cool thing I discovered, but stretching to reduce back pain. I also discovered French press coffee. Always used to use instant coffee. Now I understand the it's like my entry step into like the coffee world. Not that I want to get into it, but How about you?
Well, in my case, I've discovered a lot of Barcelona. So I know like all the interesting stores. I know a couple of restaurants that are really good around the area. So I can kind of consider myself a local now, which I enjoy a lot. I've discovered my ability to do voice acting. I mean, I've never really tried that before, and this year I kind of like just pushed myself to do it because I don't know if you guys know, but I actually took a course in acting. That was my kind of my university course, and I did a couple of movies and some commercial work and TV shows in Hong Kong. But I kind of stopped when I moved to the Philippines. I kind of focused on something else. And then coming back to Spain, for the first couple of years, especially in the small town of Estepona, there's nothing to do. So I didn't really pursue acting anymore. And then coming to Barcelona, I kind of told myself, okay, I need to put what I learned to use, even if it's just a little bit. So I thought, why not get into voice acting? And yeah, so I discovered that I have that ability. I think I'm decent enough. I wouldn't say I'm great or good like many voice actors out there, but at least I can, carry emotion in my voice, which I think is a very important trait when doing voice acting. I think that's about it. Um, I can't think of other things, but yeah, I think those are like the main gist. I won't get into detail about what I've discovered in Barcelona, but I've discovered a lot of cool things here.
Okay, so the last question, we have a lot of questions which I can link maybe in the description box or maybe in the Spotify description area. We're gonna making like a mini version of the questions. We're only picking out like certain things. So this part is supposed to be reflect, meaning you reflect on the past, you celebrate the past, your accomplishments and low points. But this next part is supposed to be about grow. So what do you want to be doing in 2022? So our last question for the reflect part is, if you had to teach yourself one thing that you learned this year that would improve someone's quality of life, what would that be?
Well, I think so for me, don't leave for tomorrow what can be done today. So if you have the ability to try something new, to do something new, to change your life completely, why are you waiting to do it tomorrow? Why are you waiting to do it the next day? Why are you delaying it? Just do it now. Do it today. There's nothing stopping you except yourself. And that's what I think the most valuable lesson I learned this year was that. And what about you, babe?
For mine is, this is just the most recent and the one that I was like reading about yesterday. So this is what I'm gonna mention. Um, is about habits, which we're gonna talk more about in our future episodes, because I have like a worksheet thing that I created for my 2020 planning session that revolves around it. One of the really important things that I learned recently, that I learned before, but I learned again recently, is about the importance of habits, because who you are as a person is really just dependent on what habits you have in your life. And if you want to achieve things, it's better to focus on the habits rather than the goal, because the goal is kind of like your destination, but the habits are like the little steps that you take to get you there. And so rather than focus on the result, it's much better to focus on the process, and you improve the process towards your goals by building good habits that help you get there. Okay, so we're gonna go to the growth part of this reflection. First question is, what kind of person do you want to be in 2022?
Well, definitely, I want to be more successful. I know that's very generic to say, but I want to feel personal success in anything that I'm putting my effort in. For example, my YouTube channel, I definitely want to see that grow. I want by the end of the year to have 1,000 subscribers, which is kind of a big goal for me. I know it doesn't sound much, doesn't sound like much, but at the moment I only have like around 60 something subscribers, so it is definitely a very big goal for me, and that's one. um I also want to further my career as a voice actor. My dream is to actually voice in, maybe an anime one day, or video game would be really awesome as well. So that is something I really, really, really want to do. Yeah, so I just want to further my goals and achieve personal success. I'm not expecting to be, the next movie star, the next whatever, but I really want to achieve my personal goals and, yeah, try to find my personal success throughout the year.
As for me, I want to be the type of person who goes out and shoots more, because I feel like most of the photography I've done is when I've traveled, which is what, like 2 years ago. And there's not much to photograph in terms of like my style, like the kind of photos I want to create. I can't really find it here in Cebu, and that's why it's been hard for me to like find the beauty. I mean, not that it's not beautiful here, it's just that it's, there's a lot of like dirt and it's very gritty. So it's not the kind of photos I want to create. I also want to be more present when I'm with people, because a lot of times I'm in my head. Like, there's always like this constant monologue in my head. I'm always planning for the next thing. I'm always like introspecting, if that's a word. So I want to be more out of my head and in the moment. I think like those are like the two main things. How about, what are you excited about or looking forward to?
Well, definitely when we see each other. That's like my number one thing to do and most excited thing I want to, I'm looking forward to. I'm excited for trying new things. I think that, you know, every year you have to try something new. And as you grow older, you realize that there's so much to do in the world that you've probably haven't done yet. And I think that I just want to try so many more things here. I definitely want to have new experiences, visit more museums, try new sports even. I want to get back into sports because I feel like I haven't been as sportive as I was, when I'm in my early 20s. One of the things I really want to get done this year is read more books, which I feel like I haven't done enough in the past years. It's such a shame, honestly. I feel very disappointed myself. But anyway, that I'm past that. My goal this year is to really get back into reading and to help myself. Actually, what I've been doing, a little kind of life hack that I've been doing is Danny just recently for Christmas got me these really nice pair of Bluetooth headphones, really beautiful. And what I do is I actually listen to audiobooks on YouTube, which you can find these audiobooks on YouTube. And then, while listening to the audiobook, you actually turn on closed captions and you can actually read it along with the person speaking. So it's actually a really great way to help because it's like you're using all your senses completely focused on one task, which is to finish the book. And you can actually also gauge how long it'll take you. The thing with reading is that you don't know how long one book will take you. Sometimes it's a very big book, sometimes it's a very small book, but you still can't accurately gauge the time it'll take you to finish a book. At least with audiobooks, you can actually see the time it takes to finish one. You can actually increase the time. Lessen the time by increasing the speed of the video. So for example, if it's like a 6 hour audiobook, then you just times 2, that's actually 3 hours. Now, of course, listening to guys talk very fast can be a bit daunting and a bit challenging. But if you actually put it, like, for example, at times 2 with closed captions, then it's actually super, super easy and you actually understand everything. It's amazing. So, yeah, so my goal this year is to read much more. And I'm slowly getting back into it by using this little life hack of mine, which is audiobook plus closed captions on YouTube.
Okay, for mine, I'm very excited, and this is like a fingers crossed, really big goal, which I don't know how we're gonna be doing this, but I'm hoping to move or at least visit Spain maybe mid next year. And if I get to move, all the better. I don't know how we're gonna be. Yeah, sorry, this year. Yeah, this 2022. And along with that, we're gonna be able to like record more podcast episodes. I'm gonna be able to shoot more. Like if ever I do live in Barcelona, I plan to like go out every single day and look for things to shoot. And with shooting, I'm planning to like make prints, and there's just a lot of opportunities. Like there's more like commercial work opportunities. There's more, I don't know, just photos I want to do. Like I can do video. Like I just feel like it's like a photography, videography, whatever dream, like a visual dream, especially Barcelona because it's so artsy. So that's like the most exciting thing that I can think of for next year.
So yeah, so I think a lot of things happened to us this year, and we're really super grateful for it, and we're looking forward to the new 2022, what 2022 has to offer for us. And I hope you guys also take this time to reflect and to kind of think about what you want to get into this year. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and we this is Love and Confetti, and we'll see you guys next time.